Welcome, Comptroller DiNapoli. Well, good afternoon, everyone. That was quite an impressive video and a great introduction. Give it up for John loudly so he could hear you over there in Belfast. It's a privilege to be with you all once again, and what an honor to follow on the stage those wonderful comments from our Lord Mayor, Tracy Kelly. Thank you. Give her another round of applause. 10 days on the job, and you gave a speech covering Belfast, U.S. relations, the whole world changing. You're off to a great start. Give her another round of applause. Thank you so much for being with us. I of course, want to thank Maureen O'Mulier and Conlon McGann, Ray O'Hanlon, the team at Aisling and Irish Echo for all that they have done to continue to keep the New York New Belfast Conference going strong. 16 years. Give them a round of applause. Thank you so much for your efforts. As some of you know, we recently, not in the month of March, but a little late this year, but we did our annual Irish Heritage Celebration, and the highlight of that was an opportunity to launch the farewell tour of our Consul General Helena Nolan. And I just have to echo what's already been said. There has never been a finer representative for Ireland than Helena Nolan. She's become a great friend to all of us. We were privileged to honor you, Helena, but I was always worried, would you and Sammy remember us when you left? Would New York have left any imprint on you? And when I heard, yes, you should go like this. And when I heard you talk about that story with Maureen, and you said that you had schlepped to the event, I said, wait a minute. That's not something she picked up in Ireland. That's her New York accent is coming through. So as you schlep to Morocco, know that we are with you, and use that word over there, please, okay? Give Helena Nolan another round of applause. Certainly today's conference is another opportunity to spotlight the growing relationship between New York and Belfast and our shared commitment to a strong, prosperous Northern Ireland. And it really is a privilege to be joined by all of our friends from Belfast, certainly our Lord Mayor, Tracy Kelly, as well Laura Leonard, good to see you again. As always, the delegation from the Chamber, Invest Northern Ireland, delegation from the Council as well. It is always just great to reconnect on a personal level. You know, I'm going to offer comments. Those of you who have been at this event before, you're not going to be surprised that I'm going to say very, very positive things about our perspective on Northern Ireland and Belfast and investing there. But, you know, I'm mindful of what's going on. So I do have to say that I feel for what's been happening in some of the towns around Belfast. We read the stories this morning about the anti-immigrant rioting and violence that's going on. I was pleased to see in the New York Times that First Minister Michelle O'Neill made very clear that the violence must stop and we must get back on track. We have our own problems here in the U.S. in this regard. I mean, to the Lord Mayor's point, we are going through an historic pivot that has certain consequences that aren't so positive. So from my perspective, though, that doesn't in any way, the recent headlines, change my sense of exuberance and confidence in Belfast and in Northern Ireland. Just as we're going to get past the challenges that we have in this country right now, you're going to get past those challenges as well. And again, what so many of us who have spent time in Belfast have always felt, it is that strength, that sense of the possibilities of the future, certainly embodied in the Good Friday Agreement. That gives me the confidence that Belfast is, just like New York, by the way, is going to continue to be a model of how communities come together, work together, how immigrants are celebrated in every community. So Belfast, we're counting on you to pull through these tough couple of days, right? Give a round of applause for Belfast pulling through all that. So again, the inspiration of the Good Friday Agreement is still with us. It certainly has ushered in a period of reconciliation and peace for the people of Northern Ireland. You'll all recall President Clinton's very pivotal role in that process. He was the first president, U.S. president, to visit Northern Ireland. He was very involved in the negotiations, and certainly part of that was to open the door for investment opportunity from the United States. During one of his visits to Belfast, President Clinton underscored the importance of our international partnership. He stated, "We remain Americans, and as people of Northern Ireland, partners for security, partners for prosperity, and most important, partners for peace. President Clinton recognized that building a strong economy in Northern Ireland would foster stability and long-term peace, creating well-paid jobs, new opportunities, a good quality of life for all. Certainly in New York, we have been committed to achieving that goal as well. New York State, through our legislature and our governor, made a commitment many, many years ago with the adoption of the McBride principles to ensure that New York dollars that would be going to companies that would be operating in Northern Ireland, that they'd be committed to protecting religious freedom for all. Certainly, in my role as controller, we have very specific responsibility in terms of oversight on McBride principles, compliance, and certainly with how we manage our investments with the Common Retirement Fund. And just over the past couple of years, we've continued to engage with some of the big name companies that operate in Northern Ireland to really remind them that we expect to hear from them what actions are they taking to make sure that they are promoting fair employment and eliminating religious discrimination within their labor force. We were very pleased with the response that we received back from the companies, all of which reiterated their commitment to non-discrimination and equal employment opportunities for all communities. What we've really seen is that the McBride principles uphold values that we all know and we all share. Standing up against discrimination helps eliminate risk for the companies our state does business with, values that the Good Friday Peace Agreement certainly was built upon. Throughout my time as controller, I've been privileged to visit Northern Ireland many times, and the Lord Mayor says I've got till June to visit while you're still in office, so I'll try to make that happen. The most recent trip was in 2023. I was part of a trade mission that was led by our then U.S. Special Envoy, Joe Kennedy III. Actually, I was with Joe Kennedy earlier this week, and he said to give regards to everyone. During each time that I visited, I've seen the entrepreneurial spirit of the people of Northern Ireland is paving the way for your economic progress. I've seen the tenacity, the resilience of the people of Belfast and Northern Ireland, how that has continued to bring success and prosperity across the region. We've heard that from our first panel. You've seen it in the videos as well. The workforce is motivated, highly educated. The companies that I visited in Belfast over the years are globally competitive. Now more than ever, we need to stay focused on our commitment to the stability and growth of Belfast and Northern Ireland. As you all well know, Brexit added a new level of complexity between the economies of Northern Ireland, the EU, and the UK. It was promising to see the Windsor Framework, which keeps Northern Ireland aligned with the EU single market, help to restore smooth trade relations. And now, of course, we have President Trump's recent tariff announcements that have further complicated this economic landscape. But before we gathered for this luncheon, I did have the opportunity to speak with the Lord Mayor and the delegation from Belfast, and we talked about how Belfast is positioning to navigate through these challenging economic times. So in reflecting on how I view our relationship with Belfast and Northern Ireland, let me emphasize this afternoon, as New York State Comptroller and trustee of our New York State Common Retirement Fund that provides retirement benefits for the public workers in New York, I remain fully committed to investing in Northern Ireland and in Belfast. Now, as many of you know, our fund has made, going back a number of years now, $111 million in private equity commitments to Northern Ireland, including our most recent $50 million commitment that closed in 2023. Through our Northern Ireland initiative, the New York State Pension Fund has invested in emerging technology companies and healthcare. Bernie touched on this in the panel, as well as more established companies in consumer services, business services, and traditional manufacturing, seeking to grow their business in the North. In fact, our recent exit from Kingbridge Healthcare Group realized a strong return for the fund, representing a major expansion of Northern Ireland's healthcare system. We've also made recent exits from Hospital Services Limited, a healthcare and product distributor, and Natural World Products, an organic waste recycling business. And we've made new commitments just very recently to 4 companies involved in laboratory hospital software, healthcare technology, semiconductor design and manufacturing, and dental implants. Our investments have brought solid returns, which is the first priority that I have to have as trustee for the fund, while supporting the ongoing economic and social progress of the region. This is good news for the 1.2 million working and retired members of our pension system. And I think it's good news for Belfast and Northern Ireland's growing economy. And not all of our monies are fully allocated. So my message is we are still looking for investment opportunities. You saw Bernie, get his card, please, because Bernie is, and 57 Stars, that team are the ones on the ground that are sourcing our opportunities. And they've been doing a great job, and we have been very patient capital, and we're seeing the benefit of being that patient capital. Sometimes people ask me, why do we stay committed to investing in Belfast and the North? I remember shortly after my start as state controller, and some of you heard me tell the story before, I got a call that two gentlemen from Northern Ireland want to visit you in your New York City office. A gentleman by the name of Martin McGuinness and a gentleman by the name of Reverend Ian Paisley. And I said, what? They want to see me? They want to come together? And I still have the picture up in my office, those of you that ever come to my New York City office, of the three of us standing there. And it was an incredible moment when I heard how Martin and Ian, after all those years of troubles, wanted to turn the page and have a new chapter in the history of Belfast, the history of Northern Ireland. And they made it very clear that an important way for that progress to happen would be for investors like public pension funds in the United States to commit capital to be part of that growth of the economy and to have opportunity for all. I think of Inez McCormick, a trade unionist from the North, who also emphasized the importance of this. And I'm very proud of the fact that we've always been invested in Ireland, but we are the first pension fund in the country, and still one of the few, if not the only, that has said we are targeting investment capital specifically to the north of Ireland. And I do hope now that we're realizing through Bernie's great work even more positive returns for our fund. It will encourage other investors, including U.S. public pension funds, to look to the north, to look, as Bernie said, for those gems that are there, but we just never took the time to look or to have the focus. So that inspiration from Martin McGuinness and Ian Paisley continues to be with me. And I've been very grateful for the fact that it's not just about me. I've gotten great support for this initiative from my colleagues in government. I want to acknowledge a former Assembly colleague and head of the American Irish State Legislators Association, Mike Cusick, is here, who is always supportive of our efforts. And also another great leader, former head of the Irish Caucus for the New York City Council, another supporter of what we've been doing. Danny Drum is here as well. Give Danny a round of applause. So all of this is to say, although there are challenges ahead, New York remains a committed partner to Belfast and to the future of Northern Ireland. We will continue to look for opportunities to support the long-term economic growth and stability of the region and uphold the values set out by the Good Friday Agreement and the McBride Principles. I'm confident that regardless of any obstacles before us, Belfast and Northern Ireland have a bright future ahead. And I look forward to continuing to build on the New York and New Belfast historic partnership for many years to come. Thank you all. It's great to be with you once again.